Alright, so here you can see I've got a nice little thing of LED lights, and I went out and bought a 9-volt battery. Reason we need the 9-volt battery is that when you have a bunch of lights connected, which is what we're going to do, supposedly it draws a lot of voltage. Now I'm also going to probably need to learn how to use a resistor, because I just touched the battery to this, I just touched one of these blue lights, this battery, and I killed him. This fella, he does not light up anymore, so that's too much voltage, too much power. Otherwise, yeah, I don't want to blow up all the lights. I remember when I was kind of playing around with lights and like shining the light in my hand. Interestingly, my hand, it looked black when the blue light hit it, because it gave this weird, the blue light specifically has this weird effect where it makes things look darker almost because of the tone of the blue. So you can think the blue, if we put this as like a spectrum, we've got the blue and we've got the red being kind of opposites almost. Here then we would have the green, for example, we have the green LED probably in the middle, and we would have the yellow being, somewhere, excuse me, that's an orange, I believe, an orange being kind of like that. The white is pretty light in color. I don't know where we would put it, if it would be like here, if it would be instead, if we look at like the lightness of the plastics, it almost looks like this is from light to dark. Something like that. Anyway, but they all, I think, have certain like psychological, spiritual, physical effects, right? When I was shining the blue light on me, I felt like a blue, like a dark, it was like a midnight energy. That's really the best way I can explain it. The blue felt like a midnight energy. And you've probably all heard about red light therapy, which red light therapy is red light devices just use a bunch of red LEDs. That's what people do. They just buy a bunch of LEDs and they just hook them all up into like a hat or a board or, a ring or whatever. Sell those as red light devices. And of course, there's some debate about like the frequency of the light. Some infrareds are like, damaging, and some are good, and all this other nonsense. And people like complain about blue light and all that. But again, everything is just a spectrum, so to speak. Of course, you've got to be very careful about how you say that or how you use that, because it could be used for evil means. But what I'm saying is, it's like these colors as spectrums of a frequency spectrum bands. They do different things. They, affect different parts of the body, so to speak, or relate to different elements. Like this is, this is the Chinese earth element, which here it goes like there. This is the wood element. This is the fire. So fire, earth. This would be related to metal, the white, and this is water. I don't know if specifically the Chinese made that color. Who knows, because of their, their beliefs, or if these are just the easiest LED colors to make. Like, why is there no purple? Why is there no some other color, right? Light blue or something like that. So we have essentially that summer, late summer, autumn, winter, spring. This is like the 5 elements of the LEDs, and we're going to test them out. I'm going to first figure out how to, I've got these circuit boards. They cost you like a couple dollars, just simple, circuit boards. Right, so this is what I've whipped up. Took one of these circuit boards, and I have, as you can see, I've got 4 of these 3, because these 3 use 2 volts, around 2 volts, 1.8 to 2.2 each, and these ones use around 3 volts, and I'm using a 9-volt battery. And the resistor, as you can see, we've got resistors. This is 100 ohm, 100 ohm, 100 ohm. Just a quick note, I didn't need to use a 270 resistor, and later on I figured out that I actually messed that up. These two are 270 ohms, and you can see the wiring on the back. Basically, I've just got resistor connected to number 1 light in series, number 2 light connected to number 1 in series, so positive to negative or negative to positive, and it'll look like vaguely like that. As you can see, positive negative connected, positive negative, positive negative, positive negative, and this is the negative here, or this is what I connect to the negative of the battery. This is what I connect to the positive of the battery, is a resistor. The battery is just 9 volt with some wires attached, as we can see, and I've got a switch. So I've tried to make the circuit. I'm not exactly a classically trained electrical engineer, so I don't really, know how to draw this stuff, but hopefully this helps you out. We see 9 volt battery here, and then negative and positive. I don't really understand which is the negative, positive, all these, so you're gonna have to work that out. It connects to a switch, as we can see here, positive, so positive connecting to switch, connecting to resistor, positive of battery, which is here, take this here, so battery, positive of battery to switch, we can see that one there, and then switch goes to resistor, switch, going to, you can see right there, going to resistor, that thin line. And if I turn the switch on, look at that. Ooh, yeah, doesn't it? What does that feel like? We're going to do that part in a minute. It's cool, isn't it? It's a lot more vibrant on the camera. It's a lot more red in real life. It doesn't look that white in real life. Anyway, and then resistor, as you can see here, resistor going to light emitting diode. Light emitting diode in series is just going back to the negative. As you can see here, back to the negative of the battery. It's basically going through all this. Maybe in these ones you can see it a little easier. So resistor, they're going to LED, the long strand of the LED, and then the short strand going to the long strand of LED number 2. So LED number 1's long strand goes to the resistor, its short strand to LED 2, long strand to LED 1, LED 2's short strand, I think, going to 3, and LED 3's long strand going to 2, and short strand connected to this wire. So you can see here, this wire at the end, which is a negative, as you can see with this, the negatives there, and then we get this big board. And of course, the reason, as I said, there's 3 of them is because 3 volts each. Okay, you might be wondering why I used 100 ohm resistor. I was looking up how this all works on ChatGPT, and I got an incorrect result, actually. A little bit of a math error. I'm not going to get mad at the robot. This stuff happens. Instead, actually, what I could use is, as we can see here, a 50 ohm resistor. As we can see, the math for this resistor resistance, or the resistor we need, which is ohms, is 9 volts, a battery source, a power source, negate essentially the total voltage of all the components of what they're using. I'm using 4 red or 4 orange 2 volt LEDs. So 2 times 4, which is 8. 9 take away 8 is 1. As you can see here, 1. They've worked out the next math. 1 divided by, I believe, the amperage that it requires. The LED requires 20 milliamps, as we can see here. So 1 volt divided by 20 milliamps equals 50 or 50 ohms, meaning we need a 50 ohm resistor, which is not a whole lot of resistance, meaning we could just skip it probably, but we also could probably not. And for the 3, we see the 3 LEDs here, which is the white and the blue. It's 3 times 3 equals 9 volts. 9 volts negate 9 volts. 9 volts of the LEDs negate 9 volts of the battery source. divided by 0.2 amps of what it needs equals 0, meaning we need a 0 amp ohm resistor, which is nothing, which is why we don't use one. Okay, I just took that resistor out and you can see I've got it all connected there, and it's very, very bright. Look at that. Yeah, so we don't need a resistor on the blue and the white. I'm going to get rid of the other one. Okay, so I rewired that one, and that one no longer has a resistor. The cable's a little thick, but we will work with it. Anyway, let's get on to the actual experiment. For the experiment, I've turned my main light off. There is a computer light turned on, but we're just going to work with this. Ooh, that changed. Look at that, that's a different mode. Yeah, so I'll just try to get different. Ooh. Alright, so if I touch it on my skin, it feels like, I definitely feel like it's not warm, as in it's actually hot. If I touch it, it's a little tiny bit warm, but it feels energetically warm. It's a lot redder in reality. It looks, yeah, kind of orange on this camera. It's a lot more red. Yeah, I can feel it's like a warm, invigorating, like maybe like a midday sun feeling, and I can feel like a stimulation. It reduces, I don't know, stress. It almost feels like good for, you know, root chakra and kind of heart activating. It seems to settle the heart. That's this one. I don't know if you can, what you feel from seeing the footage. Maybe you get something off it. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Alright, so here we are with the orange, as you can see. If I switch it off, on, take a look at that. Look at that, isn't that nice? In the darkness it's cool because you get all the, like, this is staticky effect from the camera. How it's like digitally processing darkness. I don't know, I feel like you see this like staticky edge here. Is that some weird energy effect? And whatever. For this one, psychologically, or yeah, I'll feel it, because when you get it on your skin, I find that's kind of when you feel it. Again, it's also, this one's also relaxing. It's not as intense as the red. It's kind of an orangey yellow tone for me. Like a, I don't know, it's a bit like, I wanted to say it's similar to late afternoon, but now it feels like it's similar to morning, like 10 o'clock in the morning, when things haven't really, it's not like full sun, but it's still kind of sunny. It definitely, I can feel the energy goes to like a lower, like the lower belly region, not quite the sacral region, but I guess that's also stimulated, but like the lower belly. So yeah, it's just very physically relaxing, that tone. So the green light's a little bit janky, I don't know, I think it's just like a connection. Oh, that looks cool on the camera. It's a little bit of a connection issue, so if it goes off, do excuse it. But anyway, take a look at that. Wee, push. Isn't that kind of cool? It's not as intense, the green one. I don't know if I probably need more voltage. Maybe it takes more voltage, but anyway, it looks a lot cooler on camera than it does in reality. I'll give it that. This one, I definitely feel a very, you know, livery, spring-ish, like a fresh, but almost too fresh, like a purgative energy. I feel it's like trying to purge stuff from me, get like the digestion moving almost. You can see that's getting on there. Oh, yep, I'm just gonna have to hold it. It is relaxing, like a natural tone. I feel it around definitely the lower chest region, like the lower ribs, around the liver, and it's kind of like, I think, spleen area. I can feel a lot of activity there. It's just creating a lot of movement there.
It's definitely like you get that sour effect from it. Like I do like sour things, but I don't know. It's just very like a bile, like a bitter bile or something. It's kind of the feeling I'm getting off it. Out of all the lights, this is the most powerful room. You can't really see it on the camera, but it's definitely doing it. And if I look straight at these, it burns my eyes a little bit. If you really you get that like dead on, just wow, look at that. So this one is definitely like the cleanest light there is, the most kind of pure color, where it displays things in their almost like their gray white tone. It's reminiscent of a cloudy sky, and I can feel it in the upper chest region, definitely the lungs. So it does relate to that lung air energy. You can think. It's a lot colder on in reality. It looks warmer on the camera. The camera definitely does make it warmer. Feeling wise, it feels fairly neutral but light. It's kind of cold, like a little bit cold. Not too cold, but a little bit. This one is probably my favorite. Maybe next to the red or white. Look at that. Isn't that nice? It's very intense. And as I said, my hand, it gets like this. It's a bit hard to see on the camera because it looks way more wider, but it gets like almost like a black look. There's ideas of people in like ancient books being so black they were blue. It makes me really wonder about that. Look at my hand. Ooh. You can really see all the details. It's like I guess a purple light. It's not purple, but it's similar to a purple light where you can see all the inappropriate stuff in a hotel room. And it feels very mentally stimulating. I can feel it in my head. Also stimulating to like the kidney from the bladder. So it's like the head, but also the lower water system of the body. It is relaxing, but also it's like it puts you in the senses and it stimulates the senses and the nervous system. I can feel my nerves being stimulated because of it. And the feeling is like heavy, or a little bit heavy, a little bit dark, a little bit like an arcane wisdom. I guess blue and purple. It's like that color of magical. Ooh, look at my hands. I look like I've just dyed myself with that weird supplement everyone keeps talking about. Yeah, it's like it's very night. It's like I'm creating a nighttime tone or something. I like it. It's very magical, very mystical, and it looks way wider on camera. There we go. Kind of look still pretty. Yeah, it's way more blue in reality. It's a shame I can't really get that. Oh, that looks weird. I think the contrast is too high actually on the camera. Whatever. Hopefully this was cool and you enjoyed it. Right, so what I did is hooking up all of the negatives in parallel using foil and all the positives in parallel using foil. 1, 2, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? What a nice way to end. Very nifty. Anyway, see ya. Of course, feel free to check the links in the description for social and commercial stuff, and have a nice day.